back. On Saturday afternoon, ANC members were encouraged to vote for the Umkhonto weSizwe political party endorsed by former President Jacob Zuma. Zuma said that he will stay a member of the ruling party but vote for the new party in the upcoming 2024 national elections. He said he would not campaign for a Ramaphosa-led ANC. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula said the party will be taking legal action against the MK party for using a name so closely associated with the history of the ANC. Joining me now to discuss this is political analyst Professor Andre Duvenhage. Prof, thank you so much for making time for us. We've always known Jacob Zuma was not entirely happy with the current leadership of the ANC, particularly President Cyril Ramaphosa. But for the longest time, it seemed he wanted to fight from within. Were you surprised by this latest move?
Morning, Clement. No, I was not completely surprised because over the last week or two, we picked up rumors of a major announcement that will come from the side of Mr. Jacob Zuma. And many describes yesterday's announcement as a very smart move. Others see it as a very desperate move. My take on it is that Mr. Zuma is busy playing a political game of survival, where there's a lot of smoke and mirrors involved in this process. And in order to understand what he's doing, you need to understand what is going on in KZN. At the moment, the ANC in KZN, the biggest ANC province in the country, is losing a lot of support. They have lost support against the IFP. We have seen the EFF becoming a strong factor or stronger factor in KZN. There's talks about coalitions between the IFP and others. So there's a strong chance that the ANC will not achieve an absolute majority. In that sense, the ANC is dependent on the support base of Jacob Zuma. And what he is doing, he is sending mixed signals. He tells them about the Umkhonto weSizwe registered party on the one side. On the other side, he's telling them, I am a lifelong member of the ANC. I cannot go against the ANC, but I'm going against the leadership of the ANC by voting a party closely in name associated to the ANC, namely the old military wing of the ANC, Umkhonto weSizwe. So he's busy playing a survival game with a lot of smoke and mirrors involved here.
What does it mean for the ANC? What significant impact do you think this MK party and, of course, Zuma's call discouraging people to vote for this organization will have on the ANC?
When it comes to a national context, I do not believe it's going to be significant. But when it comes to the KZN context, it may be significant in an environment where the ANC is losing support and where there's a possibility that opposition parties can achieve an absolute majority. We have seen in the 2021 violence in KZN that Mr. Zuma is still a strong man, that he can still mobilize support. And I think the message from Mr. Zuma is, I can make the difference between an ANC winning in 2024 in KZN or an ANC becoming an opposition party or will be in a situation where he needs coalition support. It's also interesting that Mr. Zuma made mention of a patriotic alliance. Now we know this patriotic front idea with regard to Zimbabwe. So Zuma is playing the game of you need me as an ANC and I am prepared to be part, but then you need to provide me with a survival strategy against the upcoming court cases, against a number of things. So I think that is the strategy Mr. Zuma is busy with at the moment.
Yeah, it will be interesting, especially seeing that the IFP has been making significant inroads in KwaZulu-Natal. So without Zuma, as you said, the ANC may find itself vulnerable ahead of elections next year. It seems to me, Prof, that he's daring the ANC to take action against him. And I wonder if they will act, because on the one hand, he's endorsing a party that, according to Fikile Mbalula, has stolen its name from the ANC. On the other hand, he's actively decampaigning his own organization. That's a classic case of ill discipline.
Well, Mr. Zuma is definitely playing a game here. He knows what is the ANC stance with regard to Umkhonto we Sizwe. We know what happened when Coke tried to register and the ANC claimed that name. So I think Fikile Mbalula opened the possibility of a legal line trying to take Umkhonto we Sizwe out. We must take into consideration that Fikile Mbalula is relatively close to the president. Although he has his limitations, I do not honestly think he is the best person for the position in the ANC. But Zuma knows the world are fighting. And what he is saying, I dare you to fire me, to take me out of the organization, according to Article 25 of the ANC's constitution or manifesto. And in that sense, he dared them to take action. But we know that Thabo Mbeki more or less said the same, that he is not prepared to vote and to support the ANC in the upcoming election. And nothing happened. So therefore, I do not believe that the ANC is going to take action against Zuma. They will probably try to negotiate something. And that is where Zuma wants to be, where he can negotiate his own future outside the legal processes that are going on and taking him to a point where most probably he may end up in jail. So this is a bit of political mobilization against legal processes, where Zuma in the past made use of the so-called Stalingrad strategy.
Yeah, and of course, Thabo Mbeki, even when he wasn't prepared to campaign for the ANC, the difference is he didn't associate himself with any other political party or encourage people to vote for any other political party. If they push Zuma out, if the ANC takes him through a disciplinary hearing, what are the consequences here versus if he, I don't know, voluntarily resigns or withdraws from the party?
Well, we must be honest to say that Zuma is still an influential factor, although maybe more symbolic than in real terms. But he is still a factor, especially in KZN. And I think the critical thing is he can take support away in a province where the ANC seems to be very vulnerable at the moment. And we know what happened in 2021 when there was attempts to take Zuma to court or take him into custody. There was an immediate reaction of violence. And this has the potential of making the province very, very unstable, the likelihood of violence. And the ANC cannot afford this at the moment. So this is the strategy on table. I'm not sure how the ANC is going to react to it, but I believe they are going to play it low-key. They will negotiate behind the scenes, and they will try to make some sacrifices towards Jacob Zuma, giving him some assurances on certain levels in terms of findings of the Zondo Commission, etc. And that will provide the support the ANC may need for being in a strong position in the ANC to govern post-24.
Well, and I suppose the problem with that is that on the one hand, the ANC can't do much about what the State Capture Commission has found. It's not like they can make some compromises that, of course, would be legal, because the State Capture Commission has released a report. The President has made a commitment to ensuring that part of the recommendations will, in fact, be implemented. So there's not much the ANC can do. But on the other hand, even if there is an opportunity for the ANC to negotiate with Jacob Zuma, who in the ANC will Zuma even allow to sit down with? He seems to have no confidence whatsoever in most of the leadership of this organization currently.
I have no doubt that he won't have any other choices as to talk to the top elite of the organization, the National Working Committee, the top 5, top 6 people involving Cyril Ramaphosa. Take into consideration he was his deputy president for a long time, so they will have some sort of a relationship, although a conflicting one. But I have seen in the past, when it comes to the survival of the ANC as an organization, they are playing a new game. About the legal processes, you are quite right in a legal term. And we have seen the promises made by Cyril Ramaphosa, where he say they are going to act. But in practice, we haven't seen any strong action. We haven't seen influential people being taken out, as he promised already in the 2019 election manifesto. So I'm not that sure. There are ways that you can politically derail legal processes through capacity constraints or other ways. And we have seen that during the state capture phase when Zuma was in charge. So I won't exclude that as a possibility when it comes to the survival of the ANC as the dominant political force nationally and specifically in KZN.
As significant as he is as a political figure, does he have strong supporters in the ANC who are willing to turn their backs on this party merely because he is? What do you think?
I think there are very strong historical factors and identity factors in KZN that is promoting the support of Jacob Zuma. In that sense, strongman politics can be stronger than institutional politics, especially when it comes to certain areas of influence, thinking about Nkandla and other traditional areas in KZN. So I think it is a possibility, and I have no doubt that Mr. Zuma has support at the grassroots level, and he will be able to mobilize. If it's going to be enough, that is a completely different question, because there are so many variables in the upcoming 24 elections. Just think about a new electoral system, leaving room for individuals to compete. We have a reconfiguration of the political spectrum. We have seen surveys indicating that the ANC support is dropping to the low 40s, some indicated below 40. So there are so many factors. But my take on it is that Zuma may have enough support to define the future of the ANC in KZN. And what he is doing is playing the game, and he sees how many benefits he can get from these unstable political processes and from the vulnerable position the ANC is in before the 2024 elections.
Political analyst, Professor Andre Duvenhage, thank you for making time for us this morning.